Here we go. Good morning, all of our internet friends. I'm going to get adjusted. We are ready to go. Welcome to the Medicare Cafe. We're logging on right at 10 today. Carrie had a little bit of a family emergency, so she isn't able to join us. But I don't even know if I consider second best, but...
maybe third, fourth. Is there a third person?
And also humble. I have Mr. Clayton Clemens on here with me. You guys may recognize Clayton from the Medicare Cafe Facebook group, different from our page. The Facebook group is where agents kind of get together, interact with each other. But I know Clayton puts out really valuable content, like almost daily during AEP. That's a big ask. That's a lot of work.
I try. This time
yeah.
of year, I know a lot of it needs to be very slimmed down, so I try to get the most important stuff out as quick as I can.
It's like weird to say after Thanksgiving, like, we slim it down. That's the exact opposite of what we do during Thanksgiving. But again, if you guys do want to interact with us, you have two options. You have the text line right here, where that is my text number. So text number, I think it's just a phone number.
It's a text number.
It's a text number. That's
It's
our text
also a
number.
phone.
And then you can also communicate with us via the chat over here, which, good morning, Brian says, yes, Beauty and the Beast looking good, Caddy. I imagine I am the Beast. My hair is a little mane adjacent today, so that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm having a really good hair day.
He's like, literally, you got to give Clayton some credit. 3 minutes before we went live, I was like, Clayton, Carrie can't make it. You on? And he's like, looked at his teeth. He said, sat down, and he goes, oh, my hair does look good today. So he risked it all to bring you guys valuable content. And you don't even know what we're talking about today.
I don't.
You haven't even seen a glimpse of a slide.
I have not.
That's brave.
Yeah.
You looking like that, willing to come on camera. That's
I'll make
brave.
it work.
So today, guys, what we're going to talk about, see if I can organize this new system. Okay, what we're going to talk about today, guys, is how to crush it the last week of AEP. Can you believe there is 7 days left of AEP?
That's crazy town.
That's wild. That's gross is what that is. It's been... Oh, Brian, also I was going to ask Brian how his vacation was.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of camels.
I saw lots of camel pictures,
Lots
and I loved every bit of it.
Yeah. But again, what we're talking about, guys, is like this AEP was just like bizarre, right? It was a really weird AEP. I've been doing this is my 10th AEP. I've not seen one like this before. I've seen busy ones. I've seen a lot of movement. I've seen crazy things happen, but nothing like we've seen this AEP. So I think, like, for me, this AEP went whizzing by because we were in a constant state of adjustment to the market.
Yeah, it was really weird not answering a lot of questions about products and answering more logistical or day-to-day things.
It was crazy, right? Like, how do I do this office task? How do I talk to this person about this? How do I get these leads? And these things are like, we haven't had to have those conversations this time of year, and like, as long as I've been here.
Right. Yeah, like the third quarter, I expect all of that.
Yeah.
But now it's during the fourth quarter, and it's like, oh, yeah, now this app isn't going through, and I need to actually know what products. It's a whole different mess.
You know, and the hits just keep on coming, with star ratings being released halfway through, with the compliance updates with, like, what's going to happen for advertising next year, things like that. It was just like, it wasn't okay, I have it figured out, now let's go to work.
Yeah.
Which we've seen in the past. It was okay, let's just get some bumps and bruises and learn as we go.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be rough. And then now that we'll have kind of this as our standard going forward, next year will be a lot smoother.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's pray, right? So just a couple reminders again, compliance changes. The market this year was crazy stable. If you didn't see huge SARs, you didn't see huge plans either decreasing in benefits. In fact, really good plans just got better.
Yeah.
So people stayed put, which is a great time for being able to go and get new clients because your current clients are good. However, your current clients weren't good because they were still getting crazy marketed to. They were still getting the phone calls. They were still it was really hard to protect your business this year. There was also a distrust of Medicare Advantage and the advertising and the market. There was a lot of stuff going on about why Medicare Advantage plans are bad, even when they're not, just because of how they were sold last year. Just a lot of noise with little to no movement.
A lot of noise. All the phone calls. I'll sit over at my parents' house. Both of them are almost 70 now, and the phone's just ringing nonstop. It feels like every day that I'm over there, they're getting 3 or 4 phone calls at least. And then what was it? The New York Times or New York Post wrote something about Medicare Advantage
being awful.
And it's like, okay, sure, not really super accurate, but all right.
Yeah,
very opinion based.
So what can you do as an agent to make sure you're taking making the most to take advantage of the last 7 days of AEP and to make the most of it.
There you go.
There we go. Number 1, guys, do not forget, check the statuses of your applications. No news is not good news. In addition to that, ignorance, guys, not bliss. Make sure that you are for sure taking advantage of that. If you don't know how to do that, obviously reach out to us. We have How to Do Business guys to teach you how to do that, or we'll check it for you.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, every single year it happens where somebody writes all this business. And 2 reasons. Number 1 is like, oh, the application pended, the application, I didn't sign something, the application pended, it timed out, this person now doesn't have coverage.
Yeah.
Or I wrote them on a plan on November 1st, and on November 10th, they wrote with somebody else, and they had no idea they even switched.
They pick up that phone, and somebody talked them into a different plan, and they're like, I didn't even know I got talked into that plan.
They have no idea.
Yeah. I just was agreeing that those sound good.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like, who doesn't want a gym membership and money back in my Social Security? I didn't say I wanted the plan, but we can agree that sounds great.
Those are good things. The app checks are something that's so vital, and it takes a lot of your time, especially these last couple of weeks. So if you don't have the time, reach out to us and let's check it for you, because you give us a few pieces of information, we can definitely check that stuff out. So
also keep in mind, guys, like, you still have time to fix things in these last 7 days. Like, if something does go wrong, and it will. Yeah. If you write any business at all, you will make mistakes. That's okay. But now's the time to fix them. If you fix them after AEP, there is kind of an election for that. We call that, I can't think of the name of what we call it, but it's basically like what's it called whenever, like, you're trying to submit, like, an exception to something? Like, you are saying, like, you made this decision, I want to appeal. It's an appeal SEP, but it's not an agent-facing SEP, meaning that they call Medicare directly. You, as an agent, get a complaint filed against you, and then you are no longer the AOR.
That's what I was about to ask, if it's a complaint to Medicare.
It is a complaint to Medicare. Yep, they call it the appeal SEP. It is available. It's bad for an agent. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. The next thing you guys need to be doing during this last week of AEP is doing a final check-in with your clients, especially for those people who you met in the first couple weeks or first month of AEP. So many times, guys, they remove from you, they switch plans, they had no idea they had it. So do a final check-in with your clients just to make sure. A couple things that you can be doing: schedule that Q1 appointment. If you aren't doing follow-ups with your clients, you're missing a ton of opportunity there.
Protect yourself. OEP, just your business as a retention-based what's the words are hard? Retention-based.
We are doing so good with words today.
Industry.
We are wording hard.
But it's very important just to keep your clients happy. What's the benefits that they signed up for that really excited them? Were they excited about their dental appointments? Help them find a dentist. Help them utilize those plans in that Q1 appointment.
Preach, queen. Yeah. I love it. Making sure they're still your clients. We talked about that. Remind them about Q1 changes. Ooh. That's a... You like that.
I love that.
Okay. No, go for it. I wasn't nearly that excited about that. You go for it.
I remind them that because like another complaint to Medicare could be that they thought their drug should be $35 if they're taking insulin.
Because they're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be. But for some reason, if it's not, the company has, 30 days to reimburse them that amount? So they could complain to Medicare saying that, hey, I thought my drugs were going to cost $35. What's going on? Where if you could cut that off in that Q1 follow-up appointment and remind them of the possible issues that could arise, then you can completely cut out that complaint to Medicare. And you're helping them remember that this is why we got you on this plan. Here's the $35 insulin. Here's your free shingle shot. There's so much that goes into this other than just the $35 insulin. That's why I got so excited.
You did. You nailed it. Good for you. I will also mention, guys, this is the time to ask for referrals. I'm a huge believer. I think when it comes to referrals, you have to earn the referrals. Yeah. You can't just do your job and expect people to, refer you business. It's like going to a gas station. You get gas. Do you tell everybody about the experience?
I really love break time.
Okay. But let me ask, why do you love break time?
I don't.
Okay, well, that was a bad example. You set me up for failure there. I'm saying you need to make sure you're earning those referrals, but it's still important to ask for them too. So calling up your clients and just saying something along the lines of, hey, if your family, if your friends, if your neighbors, dog walkers, pet moose still has questions about their Medicare benefits, make sure they reach out to me. I have some time at the end of this period. I do have time reserved for my emergency clients. You're a really special client for me. bring them in. I want to make sure your people are taken care of. So ask for those referrals in a way that makes it seem like you're doing them a favor.
Yeah, I love that. A happy client will for sure give you those referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're setting the follow-up, everything's good, they love every ounce of the appointment process with you, they're going to tell somebody about it for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You just can't do something that's expected and then expect to get those referrals. You have to do unexpected above and beyond. You have to have an experience that's worth making a remark about to be remarkable, right? Stacy asked a really great question, and it was something we actually spent quite a bit of time on talking yesterday in the sales meeting that we had, but talking about what about my clients that want to go from their Medicare Advantage plan to a Medicare supplement, and they're outside of that trial right period. They aren't in a guarantee issue, because that's something big mistake. Even like our top producers will forget this is not a guarantee issue for MedSup. Most of your Meds clients will have to go through underwriting. So what about right now? What happens? Because guys, how do you take somebody from a MedSup to, from a Medicare Advantage plan to a MedSup?
You're going to have to underwrite them. And this time of year, you're kind of pushing it on if it's going to get accepted, because every carrier is obviously getting flooded with applications. Right. So for you to get that full approval before the end of AEP is kind of tough. I know something we talked about in that sales meeting was waiting until OEP, because they'd have their MAPD plan on January 1st. They can utilize OEP if they need to make those changes and get a PDP through an SEP.
Exactly. Because when you enroll somebody in a standalone PDP plan, it will disenroll them from that Medicare Advantage plan. Right. So if you do that, they didn't get that Medicare supplement, but they weren't approved for it, come January 1, they have A and B of Medicare and D, and nothing else. No max amount of pockets, no extra coverage. So you're really leaving them SOL, high and dry, for the whole year until they can get on another Medicare Advantage plan. Yeah. So 7 days is cutting it close. To enroll somebody in a Medicare supplement in 7 days is cutting it close. So what we recommend doing is that either finding carriers that are called instant issue. United Healthcare has an instant issue option on theirs, but there's a couple other carriers that are considered instant issue, meaning that you know an underwriting decision within 10 minutes of submitting that app. Other than that, exactly what Clayton said. Wait till OEP so you have 3 months to underwrite them into a MedSup versus the 7 days you have until now, until December 7th. Because Stacy, exactly, I'm paranoid they won't get processed in time. Yes, Stacy, same girl. I'm also paranoid.
That's safe paranoia there, though.
Yes, that's a legit
You're playing
real.
with people's full health coverage for the year, so don't gamble. I like to gamble, but not on these things.
You do, yeah. You've been going crazy with this fantasy football stuff. Do all supplement and Advantage plans cover diabetic shoes under Medicare Part B? Again, it's all considered medically necessary. A lot of your diabetic Medicare Advantage plans will have extra benefits. A lot of times they can get calculated for the over-the-counter benefits and things like that. It's not a blanket statement, especially on the MedSup side. A lot of times you have to make sure they have to be considered medically necessary. So if they're a doctor prescribed durable medical equipment, in some cases they are, then yes, it's covered under Medicare Part B. But if it's just hey, these are something that it's recommended that I get, these help me, unless, again, Medicare Advantage plans, some of them, particularly your chronic condition ones, will cover those, not typically MedSups. Yeah. I'm the Phoebe Buffay Friends episode, where she has a cold.
Oh, and she has the great
singing
voice.
She's real raspy. I'm about to belt out some Michael Bublé here real quick. I am just digging it. This year, it's allergies because of all the dust.
This is peak voice for you.
This is peak voice. This is my final form. Okay, next thing, guys, I want to make sure we all do, because it's already been 10:15. Want to wrap this up, guys, is call your partners. Call your networking partners and just give them a simple reminder that, guys, we have 7 days. I have 7 more days to help your clients. Make sure that your partners know about that. Offer any last-minute meetings, and don't forget to educate them about what OEP is.
For sure. I think that's a really good point. Your referral partners are only as good as you make them with their information, because they don't have this information. They use you for it. So let them know what's going on. Let them know that we're on a time crunch. So if anyone calls them, they're not giving them the full, oh, no, yeah, this person can for sure take care of you. And it's you have a day. Maybe you're full of appointments that day, and then it's over. It's just,
just think I almost put on here do events. But a good event, if you did an event today, your first client, it's not enough time to really capitalize on an event because you're going to have people who go to that event and can't have an appointment for the week or even 2 weeks, and you don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, like you might be able to snag one.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a lot of effort for one appointment.
Yep.
This time of year when you're already slam packed.
Right.
When was the last time you went to the dentist?
Don't ask Brian.
Brian sent a text wanting to know if he
I
could
got
publicly
dental
shame
insurance.
you. Good.
But I haven't gone in a while.
Okay. Well, we should talk about that because that's dental insurance is something that is really debated in our industry if it's worth it, if it's not. I am a pro dentist. I go like sometimes 3 times a year. And
okay, Miss Fancy Pants.
So I know I had 2 cavities, and I know it was traumatic.
Favorite.
It was traumatic.
It was traumatic for her. It's my favorite. She had a really bad lisp.
It literally, I was like a stroke victim. It was like my face was hanging down here. Anyways, last thing, guys. Let me make sure that is the last thing. Yep. Last thing I wanted to mention here, guys, is there is a lot of month left. AEP is about to be over. People still need help. The fourth quarter is the biggest time of year where people review their Medicare supplements. It is people are retiring before the end of the year. December is like the highest retirement month. People are still turning 65. So again, like, yes, AEP is over, guys, but there's a lot of month left. Don't be that agent that December 8th, you take a 7-month-long vacation starting there because your job doesn't rest. You need to make sure that you're available for your clients who've been having questions and things like that. Nothing to add?
No, you nailed that.
Okay. I was reading it. I was like, it got very quiet over there.
I was like, well, yeah, people want to retire because it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to go back to work
after
this. Like, I know I'm done.
The end of the year is like a very significant, symbolic thing. Like, I put in my year. I'm done.
Yeah.
People are trying to get the heck out. We're all adults here. Stacy says, it's been shocking to learn how much his age group spends on dental. Clayton's age group? How much does our age group spend on Clayton? You're way older than me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have the same birthday.
Funny story. Clayton and I, both of our birthdays are tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Me and Clayton both have a November 30th birthday. And and he is like 1 year older than me. Yeah. So you'll be 32 tomorrow and I'll be 31. Any comments about the leads off Medicare Center? Stacy, you're talking about Lead Center. I imagine so, because that would make a lot of sense. Okay, not us, the 65 plus. Okay, yes, we'll get back to that. But to answer your question about Lead Center, okay, guys, because this is the end of our show, so here is the time now where you start asking us any lingering questions you have going into the last week of AEP. But talking about Lead Center, guys, so Lead Center has 2 types of leads. They have an on-demand style lead, which is basically like, hey, these leads are available. A lot of them are shared leads, and some of them are aged leads. I've seen a lot of success with those. People buy them. In fact, people from our office actually buy them just to test them out and have a 100% closing ratio on them. Like, they're really high-quality leads for considering that they're aged and considering that they're quote-unquote shared. The other type of lead is going to be, what a lot of people are most excited about is going to be the campaign-style leads, which is basically a live lead source that is either telephonic or data lead. Data lead can mean internet leads, Facebook lead, YouTube leads, anything else. But they come in real time to where you only show when you're available, and so that you're not spending money on leads that you can't work.
Those are really cool. I like that because a lot of people ask me about.
They're more expensive, but really high closing ratios.
But a lot of people ask me about the little green bubble at the top right of their Medicare Center. I'm like, that's just for Lead Center stuff.
Yes.
Don't worry about that.
Yes, that's your toggling.
Very cool.
It is. And Stacy says, I just see so many folks not answering their phone. And there is some truth to that for sure, Stacy, about people are just less likely to answer their phones, especially with caller ID, the baby boomer demographic being much more aware of scams, being much more like trusting. We were talking about like the 60s people and like, whatever, like don't trust establishment, don't trust anybody. And that's definitely like carried into how they're marketed and how leads work for them. However, Stacey, you're only paying for the leads that you get. So if no one answers the phone, you're not paying a dime. You only pay for the leads that you get. But I think what's really important is to remember that Lead Center can be a prong of your marketing system. The point of leads, there are 2 purposes of leads. One, to get you started, to kind of get you going, and the other purpose is to boost it. it does not replace a true marketing system that includes more grassroots or more organic style of pull marketing. And so making sure that it can be a portion of that, and it's probably the best organized and inclusive one that is TCPA approved and also approved by CMS, but it can't be 100% what you rely on.
Yeah, you're going to struggle if that's the only way that you're getting clients is from leads. It's going to be a never-ending cycle of having to keep paying for these people. So having it be that one prong, I love the 3-prong approach that Olivia was talking about. So making sure that you're doing other things outside of them. But Lead Center is cool, man.
It is. And like Stacey, they're finding out that baby boomers, they're not answering the phones, but they are responding to social media advertising. Lead Center does have both YouTube and Facebook advertising that you can buy as well, both in the campaign format and the on-demand, because those tend to go cold after 3 minutes, which is no time at all.
And I know if they're not answering the phone, a lot of folks like our age don't listen to voicemails or don't check them.
Girl.
But my parents, if you leave them a good voicemail, they're going to call you back. If it's something that actually pertains to them. So just to work on your wording on your voicemails if you're getting a lot of voicemails and look at those calls coming back in.
Yeah, you have to have a call to action. Voicemails are like such an art that's so unappreciated, especially by our generation who, if you leave me a voicemail, I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's such
Don't
an
call me in
unappreciated.
general.
Yeah, just please. But it is, we should honestly, we'll probably do this, a full webinar on how to leave the perfect voicemail. It's necessary at this point.
For sure.
Looking at the text line, I'm not seeing any other text messages come in other than Brian just publicly ridiculing you. So any other
Brian.
questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, please shoot me a text or put them in the message there. Like Sadie says, let's talk about voicemails. Keep them short and sweet. I'm not listening to 2-minute voicemail.
40, 50 seconds is that sweet spot for me.
Ooh, I'm a 30-second kind of gal. Tell me what you want, but if there's not a reason to call you back, I'm not going to call you back.
I talk real fast. I can get a lot in 40
You talk
seconds.
faster than when I just talked there?
No.
I am an auctioneer school. You can't talk faster than me.
Ooh, do one.
I'm not going to do that. My voice, you hear this?
Oh, that'd be...
It'd be Phoebe Buffet.
Okay, fine. Make sure your DSNP folks are taken care of before the 8th.
Yeah.
That blackout starts the same time AEP ends because their election
Facts.
is AEP.
Facts.
That's the only other comment I had.
That was a good comment.
It's a good comment.
It's a good comment. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your AEP. If you do need any help and a boost in your last week or just help in general, make sure you call our office, 1-800-689-2800. You can also shoot me a text or email myself or Clayton or just hang out with us on the Facebook group. That's what we're there for.
Exactly.
So until next time, guys, have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service. I didn't even coach you that
No, I
time.
nailed
You just
it.
jumped on it. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Oh, now I don't know how to work this thing. Stop streaming. Okay, bye.